Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations. Check it out, we're back working on the Beetle, and this one is almost done. She's been cleaned up inside and out, new battery tray, new seats, all this stuff, right? But what we don't have working properly yet is our electrical system. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, and it's kind of flaky. That is not all that uncommon, especially with these older cars. This one, having been converted from 6 volts to 12 volts along the way, has some creative wiring done to it. That is very common for these older cars. Somebody's been playing around with this thing, necessity, right? We just keep tagging in extra stuff, screwing with wiring and whatnot. Well, today I'm going to straighten some of that out. Now, while I'm not going to bore you to death with all of it, I will show you some of the tricks that I use to verify what's working, what's not. The first thing we need to check, obviously, is what lights do work. And in this case, I will turn the lights down and turn these on right now. I'll show you what we got. So in the front, Hazard's got both the front turn signals working. However, off of the stock itself, the turn signals are not working. So we know that power is getting to the front. Could be a problem with the switch. In the rear, the situation is slightly different. This side is working properly. This side, we obviously have some kind of a ground issue as we have a lower light instead of the upper light, right? Okay, so let me turn off those. And now we've got our interior lights on. Main gauge interior light is working. Gas gauge, the bulb is missing. But let's take a look at the lights up here and see what we have. And on low beams, we have one working low beam, but nothing there. And in the rear, where we have some wiring issues, certainly, we have this side apparently working fine, this side not working at all right now, and no license plate light. We switch over to high beams, and the opposite is true up front. We have a high beam on the left, but none on the right. So we definitely have some work to do, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you the first step I usually take, and a lot of times can fix a lot of the issues you have right out of the gate, and that is to check the fuses with a test light. So let's hop in the car and do that. All right, it may be a little hard for you to see, but the first thing I'm gonna recommend you do with your test light, you hook the wire from your test light to ground, and you're just gonna take this and touch it to each side, right? Do we have power on both sides? If we do, then we know we're good to go. See this one here? That could be because the key's off, we'll have to check. That one's not lighting up. 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 Oh boy. Okay, so let's turn the key on and see what we get. Keys to on. So we definitely got some power problems. All right, so we're gonna have to get out of the car now and figure out what exactly it is that's going wrong and how we can fix it. Turn the key back to off and we will check it from the engine side. Here's the back side of the fuse box. You can see, oh my gosh, all this terrible stuff has happened to this poor innocent car. Wires tapped in, stuff been brutalized. This whole car's been brutalized by somebody with a severe lack of understanding of automobiles. So we're gonna figure out what exactly went wrong and how to fix that. We're gonna be checking to see where our power is and where our power isn't. In this case, we got a lot of dead circuits here. This is the back side of our fuse panel. We can see that we do have power on that fuse, and I believe it was one of these, yeah, this one here, right? And then the rest of these are dead meat. So we need to figure out by looking at a wiring diagram what we got going on there. Luckily, I do have a wiring diagram for this, and it is in color. This is very simple. God, I wish modern cars were this simple. But I'll need to go through this and figure out where my power is supposed to be coming in. Looks like off of the ignition switch here, and we're not seeing it. Some of it coming in off of headlight switches as well. So we're just gonna go through that. I'll do this, I'm gonna do this off camera here, but we'll figure out what is working and what isn't, and we can begin to track down our problems from there. Okay, so what I'm finding so far, we had a couple of wires that weren't in the right place. We had a yellow, white, yellow, white. It's supposed to be yellow, yellow, white, white. Switching those around, and I got intermittent low beams and intermittent high beams. Then I realized this is all really badly corroded. So a little work with a cheapo wire brush like this, take the connectors off, clean that off, use some contact cleaner if you have it. Brake cleaner also works if you don't. And now, check it out. We have both our low beams and both our high beams. Right on, okay. We also have our park lights up front now. And let's take a look at the rear just to see if anything's changed back there. I don't believe so. I think this one is going to be an issue since that one's working fine and this one's working poorly. I bet we have a ground issue over here. And no license plate light yet either, but we're making progress. We're making progress. Inside the car, the light for the bright, oops, also works, but no turn signals. So we still have work to do there. Let's continue. Right, so work has continued. The wiper motor itself is bad, and it's been bypassed and bypassed and bypassed, and the motor itself is just shot. So that's kind of a bummer. I didn't really want to replace that, but I'll have to go ahead and do that. No luck on the turn signals yet, but I moved on to the back here. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a short or something causing it not to work, and it might be. But we got that side's working properly. Now we have the bulb was bad there for the license plate light, so that was no big deal. This here was a bit more, lots of rust. And so bulbs were both good, but corrosion on the ground contacts and corrosion between where this bolt goes and to the body of the car, which allows this thing to get its ground signal, because you're only running power back here. You've got park lights, brake lights, and turn signal lights all operating back here. So you just have 3 wires coming back here, one for each of those circuits. The ground itself is the body of the car. So that's good. I'll go ahead and reassemble that. And the last step we have here is to get the brake lights working. Now I fear that we may have a bad brake light switch. I have a used one here, not sure if it works either, but we can go ahead and swap that out if that's the case. But I cannot drive this thing safely, and I found out the hard way that I don't have brake lights because somebody stopped me at a light and said, man, I almost rear-ended you, which would be a great way to lose a project like this at the finish line. Let me go ahead and get this cover back on. We'll check the brakes one more time. Okay, working taillight, working taillight. Let's try the blinkers back here. We've still got an issue with the ground back here. That's not good. So we'll have to tear that back down and take a closer look. And there we go. Wrong bulb. This had a 1157 down here and it had an 1157 up here. Somebody replaced it with the wrong part. While it's showing up on camera that that's getting dimmer, it's because the ground, which goes right there, isn't hooked up, so I'm just kind of resting it against it. But I believe we got it. Let me put the cover back on. We'll verify that. Okay. Well, there you go. Turn signals, park lights. Park lights, turn signals, high beams and low beams, no wiper motor, no turn signal stock, which I have concluded is unfortunately the turn signal stock, so I'm gonna have to order that. That's a real shame though. Even when held, nothing. But we do have low beams and high beams, which is cool. So the only thing left here at this point is brake lights, and those are a necessity. So the brake light switch for this is underneath. I'm going to apply the brakes using probably just like a pogo stick, something to push against that. We'll get up underneath there with the test light and we'll see what we can find there. Let's wrap this up. That was it. No footage from underneath, but there's 2 wires that plug into the sensor under there. And well, one of them was unplugged. That was about the easiest fix you can have. So, yeah, I've got this brake pedal compressor in here. I'll go ahead and turn the key on. And voila. Brake lights. Nice. All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. And well, that's pretty much how it works. So, you know, I could have made this like an hour-long video and showing you how I fault traced every single one of these things, but I hope you understand how it works, right? The first thing you're gonna do is check your fuses. The second thing you're gonna do is clean all the contacts. The third thing you're gonna do is start checking bulbs, and wiring comes next. Wiring is like dead last. Even in a 66 like this, it turns out that other than an unplugged wire, everything was kind of where it needed to be. It was just corroded from all those years of kind of being on the road, being off the road, being on the road. And when it comes to the brake light switch, I believe whoever replaced that maybe just didn't put it on there tight enough, or didn't put it on all the way, or just plain old forgot. But that switch had been replaced, as well as the entire master cylinder, before I purchased the car. And so it was just a matter of plugging that back in, and now everything's working. that'll do it for today, my friends. This is about it. I've got one more video to make on this car, and then we're ready to send this one down the road. Hope you've enjoyed the 66 series. Not many of you followed it. I'll be honest with you, I probably won't do another Beetle restoration here on the channel unless something changes down the road. I think next I'm looking for a Geo Metro convertible or a Yugo. I did a Yugo back in 2017, and I've always appreciated those cars. I feel like they got a bad rap here in the United States. Anyway, that'll be on to the next video. Till next time, my friends, take care.